So let's move into MotoGP. Bagnaia won the sprint. Alex Marquez won the main race. What do you guys think of that? I have my opinions. I guess I'll share after the fact. I don't want to taint you guys' thoughts by throwing them out front. But I don't want to say they're blasts from the past, right? But it seems like it because we after the summer break we've had this period of other manufacturers, and we're still seeing it. We're still seeing it, but these guys obviously one had injuries, and Pecco bike was giving them more problems. When Pecco won Japan, I asked if it was a fluke. You guys kind of said, yeah. Well, Lewis, we'll throw Lewis out there. But
No, it was a fluke.
He did win the sprint, and if he didn't have a flat tire, from what we can tell, he might have finished third or second in the GP race. So they're figuring something out there. But what do you guys thoughts? We'll go with TJ.
We talking about Pecco here?
I'm just saying one got
uh,
they both got to win. I mean, it's weird that I'll say this. It's weird how MotoGP has the sprint and the GP, but it seems like the sprint is like the wicked stepsister. It's like they win, but it's not a win. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm surprised Pecco actually got a win on the sprint because he doesn't like the sprints. But it was actually good to see him ride decent, and actually, all the way up to qualifying, he wasn't doing that well, and it's surprising that he actually got pole.
Yeah, he had
Um,
to come out of
so,
Q1.
so for him to start in the front row, I mean, it's probably getting back to his old ways a little different. I think he definitely deserved that sprint, but going into the GP, I mean, yeah, he might have a puncture or flat, but I mean, I feel like he's still playing it safe. I mean, I've seen Top Rack ride a wheel off a rim. So like he needs to he had 3 laps left, man. Like you can just don't pull over. But I mean, I guess it was just super flat. I don't know. But I don't know. It's just maybe reflecting on his efforts lately. It just shows that he's kind of given up. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, yeah,
Man, efforts given up. I listen. I mean, I've been as you guys know, I try to be a fair supporter of all the riders. But you
Yeah,
think
right.
Pecco is lacking effort? My goodness.
I
All right,
mean,
Reese. Let's.
they were even saying that he needs to ride around his problems. Like everyone is going through the same thing. Everyone's got the same tires. And he's just his he's given. It felt like he's just giving up.
Listen, like Reese doesn't like to hear the writers say, go show me how to get these lap times since you think I can go faster. What do you say?
Listen,
What do you got to say, Reese, about the efforts of Alex? Because I mean, TJ didn't touch on Alex yet, but
No.
Alex's effort and Pecco's effort. I mean, and I think did Alex crash out of the sprint? I don't know. I gotta check. But what are your thoughts on those two guys?
I mean, I say on Alex effort, in the race itself was great. I mean, he checked out. I mean, that's what he was supposed to do. I mean, he checked himself out. I don't remember if he did crash out in the sprint race. I couldn't remember right now.
Yeah, I'll check.
But I know with Pekka, as Lewis says, hold my beer. I got this.
My
But
bad. Alex finished second in the sprint, so there we go.
all right. So I mean, that right there tells you his efforts. I mean, he had, but you got to look at it. And TJ said it best. They all have their problems, right? Every rider has their problems. Can you ride around the problems? Because you can't have a perfect bike. You can't have a perfect setup. You got to have at least a 90 or 85% something, in the realm. But he's one of them guys that wants a perfect bike. And you ever notice if he gets out front and gets clean air track, then he does good. But
Yeah.
when he's behind somebody or whatever, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't. I'm like, man, if you don't stop bitching and pull your pants up and just ride the damn bike, like I'm at that point.
Similar to Lorenzo. Jorge Lorenzo is similar to that. He was out front, and he'll kind of do the same thing. But if he had to fight, you didn't know how it was going to turn out.
Right. He just can't. It seemed like he always had problems when he got to fight. But I seen him once he got out front, I said, oh, he's gone. He's going to check out. he's got clear track. That's his normal game. If he gets clear track in front of him, he can check out. But if there's someone in front of him that's it's like a mental thing. He's like, oh, I can't catch them. I can't do this. I can't. So it's like a mental thing with him, like a mental block.
Okay, all
So
right. I could, we'll see. Lewis, what are your thoughts, man, on these guys? It's we got 2 rounds left after this, and we were on the on who was going to win that we post on YouTube. We didn't have any of the faves on there, and so I was thinking it was going to be Raul or Aldeguer or Costa or Bezecchi, one of these guys, but these guys they don't need a contract at the moment, so
No, I think this weekend overall, Aprilia had a rough weekend. Like if
yeah.
you look at the overall results from all the Aprilia riders, they weren't shining. Let's put it that way. I think their top finish this weekend was Bezecchi in the sprint, and then after that, the tumble from where Bezecchi was at downward was pretty steep.
Yeah, that's
So Aprilia,
yeah,
this wasn't their track. This wasn't their weekend. Whether it was the heat or something, just wasn't working. And Alex had a solid weekend with a 1 and 2 between the two races. Acosta had a solid weekend, even though he had to go back to his garage and pretty much tell him, turn all the electronic stuff off. Let me just ride the bike with my hands, man. And it worked out for him. Like the dude is able to, was able to ride, considering that they turned down all the electronics, according to what the media is saying, because he
yeah,
was having so many problems with the setup of the bike. And then as far as Pecco, I think his problem is he's trying too hard now, because he was the only rider that opted to go with a different compound tire.
yeah.
He was hoping that the race would come to him later on in the race. Like he's doing all this extra stuff, either trying to compensate for something he's not feeling good with the bike or whatever it is. I mean, he had a solid sprint, and sprints are great wins. I mean, a win's a W is a W, even if it's a half W, it's still, a W. But he's gotta put it together on Sunday more than anything else. And I thought that with Mark out of the picture for the next 3 rounds, he might be the guy to focus on, because now the team is giving him 100% attention. He has to be the guy that gets everything he needs. As soon as he gets in the garage, what is it you need? Let's get it done, because you need to be our top guy out there. And Mark, and Alex is still, another Marquez is still taking him to school.
Right. Yeah,
So
I was a little bit shocked at the medium and in the beginning and the struggles and stuff like that, because he was doing everything possible to keep Acosta at bay. But if he would have got a second or third place, it wouldn't have been a bad weekend.
no,
It's and unfortunately with a tire, you can't. Who are you gonna blame?
I, I don't know.
but just
Somehow the VR46 people are going to say Alex put a thumbtack out there. They have to blame a Marquez brother.
Why
but
gotta
He,
be
just
he
VO
go
gave
forty
all
six?
back to what I was saying.
Why gotta be VO 46? Pecco's on the factory team. Why can't it be somebody from the factory team, like his sister?
he gave my boy Joe Amir a podium. So
Hey, Honda got back on the box again.
Listen, get on the box of crash, right?
I'll tell you what, they know how to celebrate in that garage, man. That was twice in what is it, 4 weeks, 5 weeks? They've been on the box, and they celebrate like it's
like there's
second coming.
like they're a satellite team. Stop playing.
Remember the CRT teams? Not even a satellite team.
And you went way back to the CRT.
Yeah, it was good to see those guys race. I think the after the last round and even the round before that, I think we were expecting a little bit more, but it seems like the heat got in the way for a lot of riders, and a lot of riders struggled with that heat. There was a lot of crashing, there was a lot of hard crashing and stuff like that. Let's talk about KTM, I guess, because like Lewis said, Acosta turned off got the electronics turned off, and was able to do something. But what's going on with these other riders that they can't find their way, so to speak. Bastianini's doing what he's doing, coming through the field and stuff like that. But you're not going to win any championships or anything like that. What are your thoughts on where KTM outside of Acosta? Because he's looking for that win, so he might be doing as much as Bagnaia, but he's not. He's having better luck, so to speak. I mean, he may disagree because there's a couple of crashes that took him out of the podium. What are your thoughts on
I
KTM?
mean, from the start of the year, I mean, all the news that they got, and just not having a full team. Like you need to have a full team. Like your leader also has to be out there. Like Maverick was pretty much helping them and giving them direction. I felt like when they were struggling and for their ups and downs, and they just can't be consistent. Like for some reason, I don't understand. Like Brad Binder is a good rider, but like he's not helping much at all. Like I don't see him helping any situation. He's always in the back of the pack. Like Pedro's putting in the work. He's always screaming, showing his emotion. And Bastianini, yeah, it's his first time on KTM, but he's just always in the back. So it's like very inconsistent. There's some weekends that they're good, some weekends, most weekends they're bad, and they just don't have a full squad. So it's just I don't. Right now, I feel like the two guys, Brad and they, is just trying to just finish the year, just see what happens next year. I don't feel like they can. I don't know what they really can improve going forward. Obviously, they can try to improve, but you just don't see it.
All right. Reese, what are your thoughts on KTM? And I know Brad, I think, got one more year on his contract. I think he had like a 3-year contract. I mean, is it time for Brad to find a new team, to change a pace? For 2027.
It might be time for Brad to find a new series and head over to World Superbike. I think that's possible. But I agree with TJ 100%. I mean, you need your guy out there. You need Vinales. It seemed like Vinales was the glue that held everything together. That gave them the direction on which way the bike needs to go, on what needs to happen, and everything else. And now that he's there, it's just like, man, that was just like a tumbling house. It just went to shit, you know. And Pedro Acosta showed some when I saw him do that. He showed some real maturity. That they said they show him a little bit mature to actually want to ride the bike with zero electronics, like turn the electronics down, like just put them all the way low as possible, and let me do this. Um, so that shows a sign of, hey, I know these electronics are actually they're supposed to help you, but these electronics are actually hindering me. So, you know, good idea to him, and he rode the wheels off that bike, and which is very smooth and very easy with it. Um, but with Bender and you know them, I just don't see where they're going. They actually need some help.
Right, right. Yeah, I agree, and we shall see. Lewis, what are your thoughts on KTM and the electronics? And I know we're going to see a lot less in 27 as far as electronics and stuff like that to give him more power to the riders, literally and figuratively. What are your thoughts on where KTM is? And Brad needs to come to Motor America.
Um, I think next year is going to be a very, very trying year for KTM between the financial issues that they're going through, because we can't forget those. I mean, they weigh heavily upon the minds of those cutting the checks at KTM, I'm sure. They're going to have a lot of contracts that come due next year. So, what do they see as their future? One, are they going to continue racing in MotoGP? Because it is a very big check to cash every year to go racing in MotoGP. Do they want to continue with 4 bikes? Do they want to actually have a true satellite team that's separate from their team? So obviously the Tech 3 team is now owned by somebody else. So I think that person is going to infuse a lot of money to make sure that the KTM squad, or at least the KTM bikes, stay in the grid. So there's at least 4. But on the factory itself, if I see the performance of Brad Binder as currently a 33-year-old, next year going to be 34-year-old, do I want to sign a guy for a 2-year contract that has not really given me the results that I wanted when he was at the peak of his youth? And now he's going to be 35, 36, 37 if I sign him to a 2-year deal. Do I want to do that with Maverick Vinales? You know, Maverick Vinales is a great rider, but he's another basket case. Either you need to be the greatest rider on the planet or the worst rider to work with. So you really have Pedro Acosta, who wants to leave the team immediately
I
because
was
he
going to bring
wants
that up.
instant results, and the bike's not giving him the instant results. The only guy that they can count on for 27 is Bastianini because he's got no ride anywhere. So he's just working for food. He'll be more than happy to stay on a shitty bike because he can stay in the top 10 just so he can have a competent ride until he can find something better.
Right. No,
So there's
I
a lot of
agree.
question marks with the KTM team overall.
Yeah, I agree with Bastianini. I mean, yeah, I won't go on my Ducati case, but Bastianini, he's a talented rider, and we, like any sport, we question the decision making of the owners. I mean, they're right to make whatever decisions they make, obviously, but as fans, we disagree with some of it, most of it, really. But do you really? I mean, even though Vinales, as you hear both Reese and TJ say, I mean, he's helped the team along with even. I mean, I guess they got rid of Miller, so. But you don't think it's worth keeping Vinales? I mean, he doesn't. He outside of this injury, this is like the first real major injury he's had in MotoGP. So he still has a pretty healthy body, so to speak. Even though this shoulder injury's taken a lot longer to heal.
If my choices were Bastianini, Binder, and Vinales, I would absolutely keep Vinales. Of those three guys, that's the guy I would keep because he has been proven a winner. The biggest problem with him is if he's not happy, he becomes a giant pain in the ass, which is not a bad thing because you need that person to push you to get the bike better. But we've seen that, he's burned the bridge at Yamaha,
Right.
and that's a bridge he's never going to go back to.
Right.
He
But,
only has two other manufacturers left that he can even go to at this point.
Right. But Vinales is like a Kevin Garnett. Don't we all want a Kevin Garnett on our team? TJ Reese.
I mean, we do, but
Yeah,
I think he's kind of worse than a Kevin Garnett.
right. Yeah, you need that Marcus Smart, Kevin Garnett type player all the time. But yeah, this it can't be a nuisance though.
Right.
But I mean, listen, when you can't criticize the guy when it's just not working. He's the same guy the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I know now we're like, oh, it's not working. Damn, you need Maverick. But when Maverick's actually out there, you're like, yo, this dude's like, he's a nut. You know
He's
what I'm
a
saying?
head
So
case,
like,
man.
so like, you do miss him when he's gone, but at the same time, like, you just be cordial, I guess. So.
Yeah, I've been rooting for Maverick all year. I'm glad that he's got to shine and suck that he's injured because I think KTM Acosta would have had help, right?
Mhm.
You know
Right.
what I mean, and that would we would have been talking differently about KTM, and I mean it's the same thing with Martin, I guess with Aprilia. If he was there, Bezecchi would have had help. But although I think Bezecchi would have been like Bledsoe instead of being like Tom Brady, and Bezecchi's getting that chance to be Tom Brady right now. What are your thoughts? I mean, we talked about Aprilia a little bit, but let's just dive further into it. The struggles, the penalties, the ups and down. They're still a better brand as far as in the championship than KTM. But and we are obviously we can say Ducati's been struggling the last few rounds too with their up and down. But this is the first weekend that Aprilia's really struggled since like the summer break.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, TJ?
I mean, I don't know the reason why they struggle. Like I said, they just need more help, more data. You figure that Raul was on a high after his last race, and I felt like he struggled also. So yeah, they just didn't have it. I mean, I don't know if it was just a longer layout of a track where a lot more things are required, and I mean, there's a little overcast and stuff like that. But everyone had to go out there and do the same thing. But I just don't know if they just had enough data or why they struggled. That's just more of an insight. I just don't understand.
Okay, all right. Let's
Yeah.
let's see if Reese might have an idea of why. I'll throw something out there. Is it a lack of funds? Because they probably the poorest brand in MotoGP when you think about it. They're a small brand. I don't think their money is long. Their money ain't like Yamaha, Honda, or Ducati, aka Volkswagen. What are your thoughts, Reese?
Of course, KTM is one of the lowest out there. But Aprilia is uh, the struggle that Aprilia had this weekend. I still think that they're one of the the better brands of the bikes out there with Ducati. I
Hmm.
think they're one of the top brands. As far as you're looking at Honda, Yamaha, KTM, Yamaha is just struggling all the way. Honda has you have seen Honda s- start a little bit of you want to say trickling up there towards the front, or consistency.
Yeah.
Um, KTM is struggling a little bit, but I think they're struggling because yeah, it could be lack of funds. But then it's also you don't have that rider out there that is a well developed rider, but that can actually help develop a bike that understands what we need to win. That person is missing. Acosta can be it, but Acosta still is a little green behind it, the gills. He's learning his way slowly but surely. Acosta wants to take that role and say, "I'm the leader of this team." Um, but I think they still need that. It's just like as basketball in any sport, you need that vet. You need that one veteran player there. You need that veteran guy, and that's what Vinales is to be that. And they just don't have it. Same thing,
Right.
Aprilia. They don't have. I think Martin is that veteran guy for Aprilia to actually help out a little bit, but they're still both kind of a little young, him and
Yeah,
Bash.
that's what I say. When you're the 28th year old, you can't be a vet.
Not a vet, but he's been around Ducati long enough
Right,
to
right,
understand certain scenarios.
right,
He's been around that Ducati bike some time now, so he can understand. Hey, maybe we need to try this, or maybe we need to try that. He can kind of give a little bit more insight. You know,
right. And is it fair to say where Aprilia went wrong? And I know yeah, listen. I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to say anything about anybody's contracts or anything like that, and how somebody feels about something. Because I mean, to me, it seems like a big deal for Maverick to leave because they didn't talk to him about signing Martin. But Vinales was that guy to be the veteran, right?
Mhm.
And he probably would have helped out Aprilia like he helped out. He's helping out KTM, and you get your heart broken once, and Vin, was Vinales trying to destroy the engine? Was he not? As his side against no one's in his head, so we don't know, right? We can only speculate and we can say whatever. We don't know, but for him to leave Aprilia the way he did, there's some animosity I think that came from Yamaha and how he felt he was treated. That this time it's just like, I'm not giving you a chance. This first girl broke my heart. You look like you might break my heart, so deuces. And that kind of thing. So do you think that Aprilia kind of screwed up by not having that conversation? Maybe they didn't screw up because maybe they didn't think that he needed that kind of talk, right? What are your thoughts, Lewis?
or he could just be a basket case.
Yeah, I mean, again, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. Maybe there was already some internal turmoil, and that's why they didn't want to tell him. Maverick isn't known in the paddock as being somebody that's easy to talk to. He's a great rider again, but that doesn't mean that he's a great communicator or he's easy to get along with. There's some guys that are just hard to get along with, whether you like it or not, and whether you respect them on the track. They're just difficult to get along with. And I think maybe Aprilia saw an opportunity to get two really young, talented riders and said, "This is the opportunity we got to take as a team. This is what we have to do." Maybe Maverick was asking for more money than Aprilia was willing to give him. Again, these are negotiations, things that we don't know. If Vinales was asking for 1.5 times what Bez is getting, then they got a great deal by getting Bez.
Right.
They got a young rider that's put up some great numbers and done everything else. And with his time with Aprilia, I mean, really, what did Vinales do when he was with Aprilia? It's not like he lit the world on fire. I don't remember seeing how many wins he had. One win,
Come on, come on.
one win. So Bez has already beaten his one win several times over.
Right, right.
So
Or cheaper
again,
price.
financially they got a better deal by getting Bez. And even if he did get a little bit butthurt, this is the name on the building, the name on the check is Piaggio. It's not Vinales. You work for us, man. We don't work for you. If we tell you you're going to work with this person, if you don't want to work with them, that's a you problem. I don't have to tell you everything I'm going to do.
Lewis, I thought this was your chance to completely do a 180 on
Nah,
Vinales.
you are my employee. you my employee.
I was like, okay, he's coming around.
Nah.
I pay you.
I'll do like a 90, 97, maybe a 100, 180. Nah.
Making an example.
I'll give him a little props because he's one of the most talented riders in the paddock, hands down. I can never take that away from him. But from what's been said through the media and so forth, he's not always the easiest guy to get along with, not the easiest guy to have on a team. And that's another dynamic that we're not looking into. What in KTM internally might need to change outside of the riders. We have the same mechanics, the same techs, the same lead technician, the same team principal for all this time. Maybe it's time to change the team principal over at KTM. Maybe change some of those faces around, because the faces on the bikes, you can keep them a million times. If your coaching team sucks, you're still going to have a shitty product out there.
Right. The qualities that Maverick has, I mean, there's some principles that have that same character, and that's a good thing for them. But for him, it's not. So it's tough when you don't sign a check, as they say.